Hello everyone and welcome back to the Retro Café series, a series in which we look back at classic video games, and today we're looking at the 1996 PlayStation 1 release of Tomb Raider featuring Lara Croft, so let's get right into it. Tomb Raider, released in 1996 for the PlayStation 1, remains an iconic game that revolutionized the action-adventure genre. Developed by Core Design and directed by Toby Gard, this game introduced players to the adventurous archaeologist Lara Croft and immersed them in a world of exploration, puzzles, dive rolling, dual-wielding magnums and pistols, and overall action. By the way, as you've already noticed, the background gameplay and footage is actually from the recent Tomb Raider Remastered, which includes the remasters of Tomb Raider 1, 2 and 3, with extra goodies here and there, so I really recommend checking out the Remastered collection, as for me personally it's a really good deal and it's really cheap. However, the reason that I'm not talking about the Remastered as a package is because I wanted to give each of these games its own spotlight, essentially, as these games are all iconic in their own right. So today, obviously, I'll just be talking about Tomb Raider 1. So, the story sets this world in the late 20th century. Tomb Raider follows Lara Croft as she ventures into ancient tombs and ruins across the globe in search of mystical artifacts, similar to, and inspired from, Indiana Jones. The game kicks off with Lara's pursuit of the Atlantean Scion, an artifact divided into 3 pieces throughout the game, and she has to essentially go and find them. She uncovers the secrets behind the Scion, and Liara confronts dangerous adversaries and uncovers the truth of her own lineage. In my opinion, the narrative blends elements of mythology, history, adventure, driving players to uncover the mysteries hidden within each tomb really well. The narrative for me of the original Tomb Raider, sure, is a bit cheesy and a bit campy at times, but I think that really complements the character of Lara Croft and the overall narrative, and it makes for a different experience for something like Indiana Jones, for example. So, the overall development history. Obviously, the remastered collection was made by a different developer, but in terms of the original 1996 release of the original Tomb Raider, Tomb Raider's development was a journey fraught with challenges and innovation, and it's actually known for having a really rough development cycle. Inspired by titles like the original Prince of Persia and obviously Indiana Jones, Core Design set out to create a 3D action-adventure game unlike anything seen before. This game is so iconic that I think obviously it's really iconic with the original PlayStation, but Tomb Raider was one of those action-adventure games that came out and really set the bar. If you like games such as The Last of Us, Uncharted, and many more games, including the brand new Indiana Jones game coming out, well, you have Tomb Raider to thank for that. The team pioneered groundbreaking technologies and techniques in level design, animation, graphics, and environmental storytelling. Toby Gard's vision for Lara Croft was a strong, independent protagonist, pushed boundaries in character representation and gender dynamics in gaming. Despite technical limitations and time constraints with the original release, the team's dedication and creativity culminated in the birth of a gaming legend. Tomb Raider is iconic, and okay, the game has a few hiccups which I'll go on to later, but it's still really iconic despite all of those setbacks. So next up, we're talking gameplay. Tomb Raider's gameplay is a harmonious blend of exploration, puzzle solving, and overall combat. Players navigate Lara through intricate environments filled with traps, obstacles, and adversaries. The game's level design encourages exploration, rewarding players with hidden treasures and secret areas. Puzzles range from environmental challenges to logic-based conundrums, offering a satisfying mix of brain teasers to solve. Combat, through occasionally clunky by obviously modern standards, provides a sense of intensity as Lara faces off against wild animals, mercenaries, and supernatural foes. That's why I love things like Indiana Jones, Uncharted, and Tomb Raider, because they're not just your generic, fighting off bad guys, mercenaries, and soldiers. I love the supernatural elements, and I know it's very controversial to talk about Uncharted's supernatural foes, but I actually think that in Tomb Raider and Indiana Jones and Uncharted, it complements the setting really well and sets them apart from other action-adventure genres. Now, there are some supernatural foes that I don't want to spoil because, okay, the game's been out for since 1996, and a lot of people already know what they are, but there are certain enemies that I didn't want to spoil in this video, and if you're playing Tomb Raider for the first time, especially with the remastered collection, I definitely recommend going in completely blind because some of them will make you laugh on how much of a surprise they are. Now, it wouldn't be the original trilogy of Tomb Raider games if I didn't talk about the tank controls in the gameplay segment. One of the defining features of the original Tomb Raider trilogy is its use of the tank controls. It's a control scheme that aligns Lara's movement with the direction she's facing rather than the actual camera angle. This was designed specifically for the original DualShock controller and the keys on a keyboard, obviously. While this control scheme felt intuitive for some players at the time, it posed a severe learning curve for others. In my opinion, the tank controls in the original Tomb Raider trilogy is one of the hardest control schemes to learn in all of gaming. Mastering the tank controls was essential for navigating precarious platforms and executing precise jumps. Essentially, to jump over gaps with Lara, you have to line her up, you have to jump backwards, and to do a running jump, you then have to jump and essentially grab in midair a ledge, and it sounds easy on paper, and especially like modern gamers that have never played Tomb Raider are probably looking at the gameplay and thinking, what the hell is he on about? This looks really easy. Trust me, unless you have played the game, the controls are very difficult to learn, and my advice for any new players is go into the tutorial section of Croft Manor and just get used to the controls, get used to jumping, mantling, and just generally moving and walking, as it's going to be needed for the actual game. Despite initial challenges, the tank controls added to the game's sense of tension and strategy, enhancing the overall experience, and for me personally, Tomb Raider wouldn't be as it is now if it wasn't for the tank controls, and I'm so glad that they kept the tank controls intact for the remaster. Yes, there's a modern control scheme setting, but in my opinion it's just a lot worse, and the tank controls, the game was built around them, so it only makes sense to play the original trilogy with the tank controls. So next up we're talking about the character of Lara Croft. Lara Croft emerges as a charismatic and daring protagonist in the original Tomb Raider games. With her iconic dual pistols, aerobatic prowess, and sharp intellect, Lara embodies the spirit of adventure. Her character development throughout the game reveals layers of resilience, wit, and vulnerability, making her a relatable and inspiring figure for all players alike. Lara's design, with her distinctive attire and confident demeanour, became an enduring symbol in gaming culture, sparking a global phenomenon that transcended the boundaries of the virtual world essentially. Tomb Raider went on to have crossovers with games like Fortnite and other games in the gaming genre that are quite popular, as well as the fact that obviously you had the really iconic movies with Angelina Jolie, and Tomb Raider is an icon in gaming. When you think of Tomb Raider, for me at least, you think of the original trilogy. I mean, sure, it's been rebooted and there's been various sequels and there's been attempts to revive the franchise. In fact, Crystal Dynamics, who own the series right now, are currently looking at rebooting the franchise once again with this new design of Lara. But we'll have to wait and see if this new version of Tomb Raider lives up to the original. In retrospect, Tomb Raider stands as a timeless masterpiece that laid the foundation for the action-adventure genre. Its immersive storytelling, intuitive gameplay mechanics, and iconic protagonist continue to captivate audiences decades after its release. I've got to be honest, this game is a mixed bag, although I still think I fully respect Tomb Raider for the fact that it's just so iconic in the gaming sphere. Lara Croft herself, as well as some of the levels, and oh my god, I didn't even talk about the menu music. The ambience that plays in Croft Manor, as well as the actual main menu, is just so iconic, and the fact that they remastered the main menu and everything was just perfect. Croft Manor is an excellent hub area which teaches you the controls of the game. I really like the fact that in the original trilogy you can just explore the manor, and the fact that you have Lara actually narrating the controls to you, so sort of telling you what's good and what's not. For example, if you fail a jump, she'll tell you not only that you failed the jump, but why you failed the jump and what you need to do it next time. And although it can be very grating to hear it over and over again, especially on the obstacle course in 2 and 3, it's just really iconic, and I love every aspect of Tomb Raider. Actually, no, that's a lie. The tank controls for me, it's a very steep learning curve, as I mentioned earlier, and although that I wouldn't, think of a world where Tomb Raider doesn't have the tank controls because they're that iconic, in my opinion, the tank controls are frustrating at times. Sometimes they work really well, and in certain levels and environments they work really, really well, especially in sort of the first few levels. But for me, after a while, the tank controls are just so difficult. Once you get to know them, the game's fine, and obviously you can get used to it, but those first few hours are really difficult. But as I reflect on Lara Croft's inaugural journey in Tomb Raider, we celebrate the legacy of the series and its profound impact on the gaming world. For me personally, Tomb Raider was one of the first games I ever played, and for some reason, on the original PlayStation, I'm actually talking the disc version here, I own 3 copies of the original Tomb Raider, and I've got no idea why to this day. But that's it, that's been a Retro Café retrospective on the original Tomb Raider from 1996. I'd love to hear from anybody watching this video, so tell me in the comments below, what do you think of the original Tomb Raider, and have you played it? So what was your favourite bit, and what bits didn't you like? For me, obviously it was the tank controls and other things as well. But thank you all for watching another episode in the Retro Café series. For more episodes for games new and old, don't forget to check out the playlist at the end of this video and in the description. Thank you all for watching, and I hope you all have a fantastic day. Bye.